what I'd like to do now is just hand over to the wonderful Jenna Canna from Common Sense Education, just to be able to share some amazing contemporary free resources to support you with digital citizenship and also really overall digital well-being. So over to you, Jenna, and thank you very much for delivering this session for us today.
Thank you, Louise, and thank you, Ava. Hello, everyone. I'm Jenna Kana from Common Sense. I'm actually talking to you from London. And today we're going to just go through a few resources that are free, they're brand new, and they are, targeted at early years and primary learners. And I know that it can be difficult to find, quality resources in this area. A lot of kind of online safety resources are focused on those, real pain points around like age 10 to 13. But we know that early years offer a great opportunity to start to introduce core concepts of online safety, of digital citizenship in an age-appropriate way, and then start to build on those learnings year by year. So by the time they get to those pain points at 10, at 11, when they're asking for their social media accounts, when they're asking for a phone, they've already got, a great kind of like narrative and experience and good dispositions they can draw on to help them in those kind of more tricky situations. So I've called this session Bite-Size Digital Citizenship, and it's bite-sized because we're going to put together some little snacks, some little kind of, little nibbles to get you kind of introduced to our resources, and then I'll also tell you how you can build a full meal and fully integrate these programs into your schools or into your settings. Any questions, please pop them in the chat. If I see them as I'm going through, I'll try to answer them. Otherwise, we'll take 5 minutes at the end. And I'm really going to try and wrap up by 4:30. So if you would like to keep in touch or contact me afterwards, please grab my email or my Twitter handle. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to kind of see how you're implementing these resources in your classrooms. Just to start off, I mean, we're talking about digital citizenship, but we might not all know kind of what is a good digital citizen, what does that mean? So from Common Sense's point of view, we would just define a digital citizen as a child who uses technology responsibly to learn, to create and participate. And we know that children are not just kind of receiving information and digital media. They're increasingly creating, participating, learning, and we want them to be able to do that in a safe way and an empowered way, and to get the most from the amazing opportunities that the internet and that digital media can offer for children. I just wanted to just quickly touch on these core concepts of digital citizenship. Hopefully they all kind of feel familiar and kind of, make sense. These ideas were actually the output from a project we did with Harvard University about 15 years ago. And at the time, they were like really brand new. And, they are pretty much evergreen. They're still relevant. We still use them today. So these are the 6 kind of core concepts of digital citizenship that we want to basically kind of start, scaffolding and building on from the earliest age. So from age 5, we have ways to introduce these concepts in an age-appropriate and crucially fun way. So the kind of key concepts are around media balance and well-being, digital footprint and identity, cyberbullying and digital drama, privacy and security, relationships and communication, which is all about obviously just, being a force for good when you're online and the power of your words, and then news and media literacy. So, for the very oldest learners, when you're 15, 16, we have like really great deep dives into these kind of topics. But for early years, as you can imagine, we need to approach these things in a kind of slightly different way. So how do we create a delicious, tempting, bite-sized snack for your youngest learners to get them engaged in digital citizenship? And crucially, how have Common Sense made this easy for you to try? So we know you've got no time. There's never enough time. There's always too much to do. And, you're all under immense pressure, and we see you and we hear you, and we want to do everything we can to make your life easier. So we know you don't have huge amounts of time to prepare your lessons. So we've done all the preparing for you. And I want to show you lesson plans and everything you need to kind of get going. Everything is oven ready. It's literally press play and go. We know that it can be challenging to get students to get excited and engaged in technology while not also getting distracted by that same technology. So how can we kind of like leave a screen but still learn about these great concepts around online safety and DigCit? And then also, how do we kind of integrate that into curriculum for excellence and make sure this is a kind of progressive scheme of work that's not just, one and done, but is literally integrated into many different types of learning and many different lessons across the year. So I'm going to help you with all this today. Now, when I talk about scaffolding big ideas, what I mean is just basically building those foundations, strong foundations from the very earliest years in an age-appropriate way, and then each year, then kind of scaffolding, building on vocabulary, building on knowledge, so that by the time the child is 16, they're fully versed and, a very kind of empowered digital citizen. So we can start that at the very earliest years in, I guess, 4 ways. So we know it's really important to create an emotional connection with children, to really engage them when you're introducing new concepts, and I'm sure you've seen that as well. We need to make this kind of quick and accessible to hold the youngest learners' attention. We want to create strong foundations that offer, a springboard into further learning and, a strong base to kind of build lessons, as years go on, as children age up. And then also we want to make sure that all of our resources are fully adaptable so that you can deliver them in the way that suits you best. You know your students better than anyone. So everything we do will be adaptable to make it, perfect for your setting, whether it's early years, primary, or special education needs. So there are three kind of key resources that I think that for you, your very youngest learners, these are the kind of top 3 places I would say you need to check out on the Common Sense Education website. And by the way, we'll share all the links after the session. So I'm going to share with you some kind of music, poetry and art that will allow you to introduce some really engaging characters called the Digital Citizens. I will share with you a short video which demonstrates how you can deliver one of our short lessons. And I'll also take you through a few kind of like social and emotional approaches to the subject. Okay, so we've developed 6 characters. They're called head, heart, legs, guts, and they're so fun and so engaging and loved by the youngest learners. And what they do is kind of demonstrate those core concepts of DigCit in a really accessible way. So, for example, we saw earlier about media balance. So to demonstrate media balance, we have a character called Arms. So he's on the far left there with the accordion, and he has long arms that help him to balance these different activities. So he'll do some football and then he'll have some screen time. So they are really engaging, and the way we bring them to life is through art, through song. So we have some wonderful songs. There's one here, We Are the Digital Citizens. We provide you with free sheet music, with posters, with all the lyrics. We also provide you with art-based activities. So colouring in the characters, cutting them out and that kind of thing. So it's a really wonderful way to kind of like learn about the characters and their qualities and values away from a screen. We also have some resources that are just kind of like a kind of bite-sized introductions into social emotional learning that allow you to kind of access all of these lessons through like an emotional lens. So each character will kind of model a kind of great social emotional skill, if you like. So social awareness, relationship skills, self-management, good decision making. So if you click on the link, I'll send you the presentation after, that will take you to our resource centre. And again, this is not kind of a full SEL program, it's just like bite-size, easy to access and age appropriate. So it's perfect for your learners. Okay, now this is brand new and we are so proud of these resources. They were created especially for our very youngest learners, so children under 7 years old, so age 4 to 7. And this is a new set of activities called Meet the Digital Citizens. And these are 15-minute max lessons. So they all come with a video, which is no longer than 2 minutes. And the video introduces a character. So in this example, we're looking at a character called Head. And he is all about media literacy. So how do I know something I'm seeing is true? How do I spot fake news? And so you're going to get a 2-minute video. You'll get a slide deck. You'll also get handouts for the classroom. And for every single lesson, you'll get a family take-home tip sheet, because we know that the kind of whole community approach is incredibly important. So you're going to get like a lot of value, and you're going to be able to deliver it in 15 minutes. So I hope that's kind of inspiring, and that's something you can all have a go at in the coming weeks. If it's okay, I think the best way to demonstrate how you could bring this to life in your classroom is through a little demonstration. So my colleague in the US, Eric, has very kindly put together a video where he kind of like delivers this lesson in a really fun way. So if it's okay, I'd like to share that with you. I love your comments about songs. I also love the songs. I'll share a link to our songs in the chat. These can also, so thanks, Ava. So these, because they're 15-minute lessons, they can be accessed by anyone. You don't need to have like an educator or a teacher, a school associated email account. Anyone can access these materials. And I would recommend that these are really, really accessible, even if you're not a teacher, if you're not in a classroom. Everything in these videos, it's a 2-minute video. You could even deliver that on your phone. You've then got printed materials, which you can then, deliver the lesson from. So by all means, this could be useful for really any setting, I would say. Much more so than our kind of traditional curriculum, which can be a bit more meaty, 30 to 45-minute lessons. These are just 15 minutes and really well supported and planned out for you. So as I said, let me show you this video. It's 4 minutes long, but I really think it brings it to life.
Hi, I'm Animated Eric, and this is a walkthrough of facilitating one of our lessons from our Meet the Digital Citizens series. Each lesson includes slides, a handout, and a video. This example facilitation isn't a rigid expectation. You know your students best, so have fun with it. All right, class, take your seats. I've got some unbelievably exciting news. Today, we're going to meet Head of the Digital Citizens. Before we begin, let's do a feelings check-in. Look at the chart on the screen. How do y'all feel today? Write down how you're feeling on a piece of paper, or if you want, you can raise your hand and share out loud. Oh, Theo, it looks like you've got your hand raised. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling sad.
Oh, why is that?
My brother said capybaras aren't real.
Actually, capybaras are real. They're actually one of the largest...
They are? Woo!
Yes, and your story perfectly relates to our lesson question. How do you know something you see or hear is true? Ah, Bigfoot, your hand is raised. What do you think?
If there's a citation and a source, it's true, of course.
Whoa, that's right. Wait, I thought Bigfoot didn't exist.
I don't.
Sorry, class. What an unbelievable event that was. Sometimes we see news that is unbelievable, like that Bigfoot we just saw. But what does news and unbelievable mean? Let's review those vocabulary words. Theo, could you read the definition of news and unbelievable?
News. New information about recent or important events. Unbelievable. Something that is probably not true.
Thank you. All right, let's watch the video with Head.
On this episode, it's Head.
Hello, digital citizens. My name is Head. I'm known for using my head to ask questions and discover what's true. Today, my grown-up brought me to the library so I could learn more about dinosaurs. Being curious is important to me because I love learning new things. Sometimes I see or read things that seem unbelievable. So I ask questions and read more to check if they're true. Just like in real life, you can't believe everything that you see online. You have to use your head to ask questions and discover what's true. No one knows everything, so being curious and asking questions is the first step to finding out what's true and what's not.
Hey, Head, I found a dinosaur book you might like.
Gotta go, but my question for you digital citizens out there is this. How do you know something you see or hear is true?
So, after watching the video, how do you know something you see or hear is true? Theo, your hand is raised. It's like you're the only kid in this class, almost if there were only enough voice actors to do 2 voices. Anyway, what did you learn?
Ask questions and read more.
Great answer. And I've got even more good news. We get the color. Let's get a pencil and your crayons out. Right now, I'm passing you a handout that has 2 sides. Today, we're going to do the first side, which has a write and color activity. And at home, you're going to draw. I want you to do your best to color Head and the library in the background and write some of the ways that you can check if something is true. Think back to what your classmate Theo shared or what Head said in the video. If you need help, just ask me. Great work, everyone. I'd like you to take this paper home and ask a family member to complete it with you. You're going to draw an unbelievable or mythical creature. Have fun and thanks for joining class, especially you, Theo and Bigfoot.
Bye.
So sorry about the American accent. That was done by my colleague in California. We do have a kind of full suite of resources for children from early years all the way through to 18 that are available in British, English. We spent a year actually working on them to make sure that they're ready for the UK. And that's called our full Digital Citizenship curriculum. Again, it's free resources. There are 6 lessons per year for children aged 5 through to 18. And every year it kind of builds on those kind of core concepts of DigCit in an age-appropriate way. Okay, so hopefully you've already got kind of an impression of how you could use those in the classroom and how they can help. But we would suggest that these are a really great way to introduce big ideas and topics that can feel overwhelming. And, you know, really when the children are, you know, listening to Head in his video and kind of, you know, modeling those good behaviors, they're not really thinking, obviously, media literacy, but they are learning those skills in a kind of, you know, age-appropriate way. We think it's really important to start building vocabulary around technology as, you know, early as is appropriate. And, you know, these lessons can also be a way to, as I said, you know, approach things through a social emotional lens, but also set class norms. So you saw at the beginning of the lesson, just to check in, you know, how are you feeling today? I know many teachers are already using a check-in first thing in the morning, but you could, you know, grab that slide, use that on a daily basis. So we really want to kind of, you know, empower you to use these in the way that is best for your classroom. So those are kind of like the bite-size introductory snacks that I talked to you about before. But I also mentioned, you know, helping you to get to, you know, the full 5-course meal. You know, how do we really integrate digital citizenship in a progressive way, you know, across the whole year. So it's not just, you know, an activity that happens around, you know, Cyber Scotland Week. This is something that's, you know, really integrated into the daily lives of your learners. So we have a lot more resources in our SEL in Digital Life Resource Centre. We have our full-length lessons, which I referred to. That's the Digital Citizenship curriculum from Common Sense, all available for the UK and all free. And then finally, we have, you know, a lot more resources for family engagement. You know, we know that family engagement is really challenging. So we want to help you as much as we can. I think that the kind of family engagement resources attached to those digital citizens lessons can be really useful. But then we've got, you know, kind of ready-made kits for, you know, introductions to kind of key issues around parenting concerns, things like, you know, social media, getting your first phone, and they're kind of like oven-ready presentations that could be used by PTAs, you know, outside of school. They're really flexible and good for families, carers, for parents. So when I share these resources, hopefully you'll find there's like a lot more to find on our Common Sense Education website. Okay, and then I just wanted to suggest a couple of ways that you could implement these new resources all year. So I mentioned potentially, you know, mixing up these slides. They're a great way to just remind your learners about these characters and their qualities, and then also check in on, you know, the temperature of the room, how are the students feeling that day. We suggest also just using the handouts. You know, the handouts can be a great kind of conversation starter. So, you know, revisit those handouts as often as you need to, cut out the characters, build massive wall displays. I mean, I've seen so many different ways that, you know, teachers are grabbing hold of these characters and really like shouting from the rooftops about their great characteristics. When you're delivering your parent evenings and sort of caregiver nights, just a couple of ideas about how you can use our resources. So something that can work really well is almost treating the parents as the students, so taking them through stations about each character. So we've got a lot of ideas. If you wanted to check in with me and have a chat about implementation, I'd love to talk to you directly. We've got loads of ideas we can share, and I can direct you to resources depending on what you need. But we have this early childhood toolkit, which I wanted to mention in particular because it's really accessible, you know, even if you're not in a school setting. So any early year settings, I think the the early childhood toolkit will be a really lovely resource for you to access. So I do highly recommend you check that out. I think I've already talked about parent evenings. And then if you have circle time as well, I just wanted to reiterate that each of these characters also kind of aligns to a key social and emotional learning skill, if you like. So legs is all about social awareness, feet about self-awareness, and so on. So there's, you know, a much bigger opportunity outside the characters. It's not, you know, this is not online safety. This is like teaching like core values, dispositions, ways of thinking, ways of behaving that, you know, will really carry children through the rest of their life. And you know, I think can be applied in many different kind of lessons, many different environments. We don't have time to go through this in detail, but I just wanted to let you know, when you access our Digital Citizenship curriculum on our website, this is what lessons look like. This is a lesson for year 1. It's called Pause for People, and it's all about transitioning from a screen to a person. And I've seen that's tough for kids. I've got a 3-year-old, and it's difficult to, you know, ask them to stop what they're doing, and we have a solution for you. So this is just a simple technique called pause, breathe, and finish up, which is closing your screen down. So I just wanted to show you what the lesson slides look like, and hopefully you'll agree that the quality is lovely. Everything that we can provide you with is always editable, so you can remove slides, edit the text, do anything you want to. We always start with a kind of core question or learning objective, a warm-up. We introduce key vocabulary. We have a video. We have our characters demonstrating this technique, pause, breathe, and finish up. We have some kind of digital dilemmas that are great conversation starters. And then usually we finish with kind of offline, if you like, activity. So this is a drawing activity. So that hopefully gives you an idea of kind of what our lessons look like. This is an example of a school in North London who created a huge Digital Citizens display, and they're displaying it proudly in their reception. So hopefully that will get your kind of minds whirring as to what you could maybe do in your schools. And that's it. So before I go, I just wanted to let you know that as well as Common Sense Education, we also have a kind of parent platform called Common Sense Media, which is a collection of over 50,000 independent reviews and ratings. We have over 1 million unique users per month. It's really quite an amazing big machine. So yeah, Common Sense Media, if you Google it, it will come up. You can find reviews of everything children want to watch, read, play, and on there as well, you'll find like movie reviews, podcast reviews. We have some wonderful lists like, you know, top podcasts for learning, which I think you might enjoy. And anyway, because you're teachers, just to let you know that you can access like a full membership for Common Sense Media, which is worth about £30 a year for free. So as long as you're teaching, Common Sense Media will always be free, and I will share the joining instructions. There's a particular link you have to click on to join. So please take up that offer for your free membership. And finally, Louise, I've got a call to action. So we have an elite squad of ambassadors around the world, most of them in the US. About 100 people around the world are Common Sense ambassadors. Now I've got 2 in England, but I've got none in Scotland. And it's an absolute shocker. So I'm not happy about it. So this is, just a heartfelt request. If you are listening to me right now, if you're passionate about these issues around, online safety, cyber, digital citizenship, then please get in touch with Louise or with me directly, because I would love to let you know kind of the steps you need to take to become a Common Sense ambassador, because we absolutely need a representative in Scotland to wave the Common Sense flag, and there's always loads of fun opportunities to do extra things like conferences and stuff. So if that sounds like it could be you, please let me or Louise know, and maybe you can be our first Scottish ambassador.
Jenna, that would be an amazing opportunity for anyone to become an ambassador for Common Sense.
I think so. Yeah, I'd love to find that person as a result of this webinar. That would be amazing.